Hey everyone. Okay, we are back with another, I guess I'm going to call them episodes because we're recording them and they're almost weekly. So with Dishing with Diamonds, I'm Rainey Anderson. And before we get started, I'd just like to remind everybody that we are simply giving our journeys. We are in no way making any type of health claim or financial claim. We're simply just sharing our journey to the destination of diamond. And now I have a privilege and an honor, and I'm excited about introducing our next guest. Tamara Holloway probably just doesn't need an introduction, but what I'd like to say about Tamara, outside of her being an amazing leader with our company, she's a mama, she's a wife, she's a Christian, she's a friend. She's just somebody that I personally think that you would want to align yourself with outside of Plexus. You know, she would just be somebody that would be cool to hang out with. And I know that Tamara is going to share from her heart. She is going to share her experience in her journey to diamond, as well as just the lessons she's learned along the way. So Tamara, thank you so much for being with us today.
Yay, I'm excited to be here. That's quite an introduction. I don't know, I didn't put any blush on, so I might have a little bit going on now.
Well, good. Well, you know, we're not here to embarrass you, but, you know, I don't think that we can talk about your journey without highlighting, you know, just your leadership within the company, and how I do believe that you're somebody that, you know, you're a leader amongst leaders. And so you are appreciated greatly, you know, not just amongst people that are trying to get to diamond, but those that are already in that position. So again, thanks for sharing your time with us, and I can't wait just to dive into these questions. Are you ready?
All right, let's do it.
Okay, awesome. Well, the first question I have for you is simply to describe your life before Plexus.
Oh, okay. So that one takes me back a bit. I've actually been with Plexus for 3.5 years, which is so crazy to me. Whenever I very first started Plexus, I was not looking for anything remotely close to what this company had to offer. So I'm sure we'll get into it a little bit more, but everything, how my life has changed since then, has been such a surprise and so unexpected. So before Plexus, we were living in Little Rock, Arkansas, and my husband was a respiratory therapist at the ICU and sometimes the NICU. And he'd been doing that for several years, and he really just felt like he wasn't using his full potential. Like he wanted to challenge himself and push himself. So we literally just sold our house in Little Rock. We packed everything up. I was 7 months pregnant, and we moved in with my mother because we were building a little cabin in Heber Springs, Arkansas, which is a very small town about an hour and a half north of Little Rock. And we built this it was barely 600 square feet. I think it was like 593 in Heber Springs on a little piece of land. And we moved there right after I had my first Abigail. She was literally like 2 weeks old when we moved in the August heat. I remember, I will never forget that. And we did that because he wanted to pursue his dream to become a physician assistant. And he had to do a lot of prerequisites in order to even make it into school. And so we knew we had to downsize our life in order to be able to afford, our life on one income. So he could take all these crazy prerequisites and start the interview process. It's a very long process to become a physician assistant, to even get into the schooling. And so I was the breadwinner, and he was taking all of his classes. We were living in this little cabin with our little baby. And I put her in daycare after she was about 3 months old, and I could not handle it. I respect moms that can, and I know that some people don't have a choice. I didn't feel like we had a choice, but I just didn't have peace in my heart. And so after a few weeks of her being in daycare, I quit my job, and we were like, how are we going to do this? Thankfully, we had saved a little bit of money to live off of, and he was working part-time, but we were like barely making ends meet. Maybe 2 or 3 weeks after I quit my job, we got the letter of acceptance that he got into PA school. And we were like, okay, oh my gosh. I'm so thankful that God prepared the way for us to downsize and everything that we did, because otherwise I don't think we would be where we are today. So we packed up in and we moved to Searcy, Arkansas, where he attended Harding University. And that is where I found Plexus. In that little town of Searcy, my life changed. So.
Oh my goodness. Okay, well, I have to interject because the beginning of this story excites me, because what I hear in this is even before Plexus, and we talk about our journeys and how we sacrifice, we do the hard stuff up front so we can have a easier life down the road. Y'all started doing that before Plexus. And so, I want to point that out to our viewers that are tuning in, because I feel like that is so very important to have that mindset of, belief, but beyond belief, certainty, and that you're going to do whatever it takes to get to the next goal. And y'all were doing that as a couple united before Plexus. So I adore that, and I completely respect you for that, and admire you. If that was even possible, I admire your journey even more for that. So you've kind of set the scene for us. I feel like this is set up, and I love it so much. So how did you get introduced to Plexus?
So that's a really funny story. I did not know anyone personally who was selling Plexus. No one. I would randomly, late at night while my husband was studying, I was on yard sale sites, sometimes watching Netflix. I was trying to sell anything I could just to earn extra money. I was doing mystery shopping to get 25, 30, 40 bucks here and there. A lot of times, remember this is pre-Plexus, we were eating dinner because I was doing a mystery shop for Papa John's or Arby's or, something like that. And that would be our dinner that night. Plus I'd earned $25. And so that was a lot of the way that we were kind of making ends meet. So I would just sometimes at night, when I was on the computer completing my mystery shops or whatever, I would scroll the yard sale sites, and frequently I saw Plexus posts. And so just casually over the course of a few weeks, I would message one person or the other and just say, I saw the testimony, tell me more about the product. And so I started doing some research, not necessarily with anyone in particular. Well, I was at Target one day, and this sweet lady asked me when my second baby was due, as I was strolling around my 2-year-old, and there was no second baby. And so I thought, you know what, dang it, I'm ordering this Plexus. We'll see what happens. And I told my neighbor about it before I did, and I was already networking without even thinking about it. I was sharing the product with her, and I convinced her to do it with me and to split the big welcome pack, the $1.99 welcome pack. Just split it with me so we each have 6 weeks worth, and kind of a little competition who could lose our baby weight the fastest, right?
Love it.
And so I convinced her to do it with me. And so I signed up as an ambassador. She asked me, she said, okay, well, who are you going to sign up with? I said, girl, I don't know anybody. I don't know any of these ladies. I'm just going to pick one that I've been, talking to randomly on these yard sale sites. And she said, no, don't do that. Sign up with my friend. I have a friend in Little Rock who sells it. And I was like, oh, okay, give me your number. Because again, I had no intention, and I wasn't looking for a business. I was looking for 20 pounds less on my body. I wanted to feel good. I wanted to fit back in my jeans. Like, my attire was my husband's sweatpants or scrubs and like his big t-shirts. Like, that's what I felt comfortable in. I could not fit in my clothes anymore. And so, or I guess I could, but it was not attractive. And I didn't tell my husband either that I signed up. I didn't tell him. He would get up in the mornings and take a shower, and I would mix up my pink drink and drink it really fast and like jump back in bed. I was so scared that he was going to be like, why are you spending money on this? Because really I shouldn't have. But I took a leap of faith, and looking back on it, I really do believe that God drew me right where I was supposed to be, because the product worked for me. And within 2 weeks, he was already noticing the difference. He was asking me about why. He's like, you haven't had a migraine in like, I can't remember when, 2 or 3 weeks. And that doesn't sound like long, but when y'all was having them once or twice a week, it was noticeable when I wasn't having them. And I wasn't even looking for that sort of relief, but it was happening in my body. I've been a migraine sufferer for over 7 years. And so I confessed everything. I told him what I was doing, and I began to start sharing. And I got that paycheck in the mail. We got it in the mail back then, and it was $240. And I I was ecstatic. And so I thought, maybe, just maybe, let me look at this compensation plan. Let me see what this is all about. And I remember reading it on my laptop and reading through it again. And like just this light bulb went off. And I thought, okay, this is different. This is unique. I had been in network marketing before and didn't have a great experience. And I know a lot of times I tell my team this because a lot of times people have had experience with network marketing before, but it wasn't a good one. And so they just assume they're all the same. But no, Plexus is so unique. And you guys know that. Our products are unique and our compensation plan is the most generous plan out there. And I say this all the time too. It's not for the few, it's for the plenty. And a light bulb went off and I realized that. I thought, I'll not be able to do this thing. And so I called up my sponsor who I didn't know. She was like a stranger. Her name's Nicole Kinsler. And I said, you know what? Just letting you know, I think I'm going to do this thing. Like, I'm going to get a Lexus and I'm going to go to Hawaii. I don't know what you're doing, but I want to let you know I'm going to do this. Come with me if you want. And she told me much later that she was like, yeah, okay, great. But really behind the phone, she was like, what does she mean? Now he's in like 7 months. But guys, I did. I went Emerald in 8 months on my birthday, actually, April 30th. So this April 30th will be 3 years since I went Emerald. Yes. That makes me want to cry. Like just so life-changing. So yeah, that was pre-Plexus. That's how I found Plexus. And like I said, Nicole was a stranger, but I know that God led me to her because she's one of my closest friends now. We could not be more opposite, but it's definitely a heart connection.
And I think, how amazing that is. You're an example of, not necessarily being networked into the person you signed up under, and still the success that you can have, not having that personal relationship. Again, it goes back to determination, to mindset, and what you're going to do with the business. So again, another example that sets Tamara, I believe, apart from, you have some distinct differences in your journey than say some other people do, because a lot of people sign up under somebody that they knew, or at least was an acquaintance with. You signed up under Nicole, which, for Nicole, I'm sure, now Nicole's worked hard, so please do not,
sure.
But you, in that instance, were kind of like a lottery ticket to her, because y'all didn't know each other, and here you are, someone who took it and ran with it. So strangers are, important. You
never know what's out there. Yeah, I mean, I have 3 jewels, level 1 jewels on my team that were strangers to me. Like they'd been on my team for months before I even met them. Like at convention, I met 2 of them at convention for the first time, my first convention.
So I know one of them's Christy White, and then is the other one
Megan Garrity.
Okay.
I found her through Baby Center when I was pregnant with Abigail, and I formed we formed a Facebook group where we all had kiddos of the same age.
Okay.
So I just befriended her, and we would talk about sleep issues, and our kids were terrible nappers, and we just formed a friendship that way. And then I sent her a 3-day trial of Plexus. And we just kind of started that conversation at that point. And now she's an Emerald on my team. She'll probably be Sapphire in the next 2 or 3 months.
That's fantastic. And then is Lisa on your team as well?
Yes, Lisa Shroudrock.
Was she the other stranger?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So I just heard 2 diamonds and then 1 emerald. Did I get that correct? Okay. So
yes.
Y'all, I mean, that's huge. And so, the development of a relationship is incredible. And so just because you don't know them doesn't mean that they can't be somebody that's successful on your team.
Yeah, and I believe too, it's relationships, of course, are so important, but the most important thing is trust. And so even an acquaintance that you don't have a strong relationship with, if you build trust by being respectful, by not being pushy, by getting in conversations that have nothing to do with Plexus or our products, you begin to build trust with people that you're not just seeking them out to make $1, right? And so you have to be, a lot of my team, we kind of have a culture at our team of very boldly and passionately reaching out. But I'm teaching the how-tos, how to do it well. Because, we all hear, like post smart on Facebook, do social media smart, right?
Right.
But we don't always encourage our people to reach out smart, because I really believe you only get one first impression. So you want to make it good when you are building relationships and talking about your products for the first time. It's when I'm specifically speaking, with acquaintances and or strangers, and because you don't have that relationship. And so you've got to make sure that you're really making your reach outs and sharing about plexus just very personal and very authentic as well.
I love that. And so there's a little.
Sorry, I kind of went off on a rabbit trail there.
I love it. The rabbit trails I find are the best trails, because they're chock full of wisdom and insight to the business. Because like you said, it's so easy to say, go do this. But I do think that it's our responsibility as leaders to drill down into the how-tos and give specific examples. So thank you for giving
and Randy, I came to that because I was so often saying, okay, we're going to have a reach out blitz for the next 24 hours. I want you to reach out to 5 new people. And then people would start coming to me and saying, I'm not getting responses, or I'm getting a lot of no's, or they're just ignoring me. And I was like, okay, let me see your messages. And so I would start reading through the messages, and I'm talking, I've read at least probably 100 or more messages from people sending them to me. And I don't know I'm not trying to say this in a rude way, but they needed work. Like they needed some passion and some non-salesy wording. And so I thought, dang it, Tamara. One of the most important things about leadership is leading by example, right? And so I wanted to give examples and lead by showing people my messages that I've used, things that I've used to reach out to people. Because listen, this whole business is about trial and error, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, I have made some mistakes. You guys would laugh at some of the things I have done. But, you've heard the phrase failing forward. So you could fail at something and recognize, man, I botched that one, or whatever it is, but then learn from it by doing it differently. And so that was a conviction to me to quit telling my people what to do and show them how to do it and how to do it well.
Absolutely. And I think there, in there, I'm also hearing that with the how-to, it's not necessarily overnight. I think a lot of times we'll follow up, or we'll have a genuine conversation to then say, well, it didn't work because you had one genuine conversation. And to realize that your closest of friends, that didn't happen overnight, nor will something like this where you're asking someone to trust you with their health journey or their business, if that's how we're leading the conversation, a way to help them in their finances. Again, this is those areas in your life are sensitive, and you want to work with someone that you trust for sure.
Mm-hmm. It's very rare that someone just goes, okay, I'll sign up, and they actually do it, or I'll order. It takes, 6, 7, 8, 10, 12 follow-ups sometimes, or conversations, building relationships, just touch points in general before people jump on board, because we always have plexus on the top of our minds, right, on the front burner, because we love it, we're passionate about it, we've experienced the magic of plexus, we're taking showers and we're thinking, oh, this would be a great post. It's just on the brain, right? But these people that haven't experienced the products before or the business opportunity, it's on the back burner. And so don't take it personally if someone doesn't respond just yet, or they say no. They just may not be ready. Guys, I have a gal who joined me beginning of February, late January, somewhere in there. I followed up with her for 3 years. 3 years. I was a gold ambassador the very first time I reached out to her. So you never know who is going to join your team. It just may not be the right timing until later.
I love it. And I'm going to say something to everyone that's totally not on topic, but if y'all do hear some growling in the background, that's only because I have 2 very precocious 4-legged fur babies in my office that if I don't allow them in here, we put up with the scratch, scratch, howl, howl at the door. So growling, I promise you it's not my stomach. And I'm saying that more for Tamara's benefit, because those that tune into this regularly or any call with me know that that's my real life. My little is old enough now to not be the interrupter. It's my fur babies that are the interrupters. Anyways, okay, so we heard that you went Emerald in 8 months. Walk us a little bit more through your journey and maybe some highlights. maybe how long it took you to go silver, and maybe highlight the ranks that way.
Okay, so I started in August of 2013.
Okay.
And I remember, like, when I said I got that paycheck and I got excited, I thought, okay, what's the first step? So it was silver. And so I remember literally, I can picture where I was in my bedroom praying that God would just give me 3 people in the month of September, just 3 people to join my team. And on the very last day of September, I signed my 3rd person and I went silver. And I was so excited about that. And I just knew that was the first step. And then from silver to gold, I got a little caught up. There was a girl who joined around the same time as me. And she added like 300 level ones and had 18,000 PV in like 2 minutes. Okay, that's a slight exaggeration. Brady's face. But yeah, I mean, I was just like comparing myself to her because we started right at the same time. And she just seemed to be flying, right? And that really got me a lot. I remember telling Nicole, I'm just going to quit. Like, I can't do this. I mean, just riding that emotional roller coaster of, one day I was excited because my newest customer had just lost 5 pounds in 2 weeks. And the next day I was discouraged because so-and-so had added 3 new people to the team page and I didn't even have any leads. Like, just that back and forth emotional roller coaster. And it wasn't until I got that in check that I was really able to go forward. We hear a lot that comparison is the thief of joy, but it's also the greatest hindrance. It can paralyze you like no other. And so that was really my journey to silver to gold. It wasn't until I changed my mindset that I went ahead and pushed on the gold, which took me another 4 months. And then from there, I hit senior gold, ruby, senior ruby, emerald back to back, much to my surprise. So there I was at Emerald, and then all of a sudden I realized I had a really big team and I had to figure out how to lead these people. And so we kind of went through a period where we were adding a lot of people, but we were also losing a lot of people. Like, the retention was terrible. And so I really had to look at myself, honestly, and figure out what I needed to do differently. And that is when I started doing my 3-way calls with new ambassadors. When they would jump on board, I would grab them and my level 1 and really start connecting with them. And I would say that connection changed my business. I was doing training calls. I have a video on exactly what I go over in my training calls. It's very simple. There's nothing magic about it at all. Mainly the point is to connect and just show them that they have an extra piece of support in someone besides their direct upline. And I feel like that breeds loyalty, and it also breeds a connection that they're not just a number, they're not just someone that just joined, but they're a person that I want to connect with, and they just have another lifeline. I love having relationships with my levels 1, 2s, and 3s that are runners and that are go-getters. And guys, before I got to Emerald, something I did with every new ambassador, I would friend them and I would message them a private welcome. So they would get welcomed on the team page, but then I would also send them a private message and welcome them with a personal note. And I did that for every single person that joined my team, probably up until about Ruby, Senior Ruby. And I would friend them on Facebook as well. And so my point in telling you all that is just connect, connect, connect. And I didn't really know that's what I was doing. I just knew that friendship and loyalty kind of go hand in hand. And I wanted these people to stay put. I wanted these people to be as excited about Plexus as I was, and to be as passionate about the products and the business opportunity as I was. And so I wanted to make it personal to them. Yep. Did I answer that question? I kind of felt like
No, you did. And okay, so what I'm taking from that is I'm hearing the relationship is key, because really at the end of the day, it's easy to disconnect from a business opportunity. It's really hard to disconnect from a friendship, from a relationship. And so if you're not doing a 3-way welcome call with your team, I highly encourage you to instate that or get back to it, because you just heard from somebody who's not just been successful in Plexus, but has continued to be successful, that this is something that she implements in her own organization. And so, I'm not hearing anything difficult here. I'm just hearing that it's just that slight difference that has added to your success. You know, I'm reading a book right now called The Slight Edge, and basically the premise of the book is whatever it is you're doing in life to reach your goals is not hard. It's just not doing it is slightly easier. And so what I'm hearing Tamara's doing, none of it's hard. It's just slightly easier not to do it. It's slightly easier to not get on a call and welcome somebody, to not send them a personal message. But what if you did? What difference would that make in your business? So, you know, I had to highlight that. And then how long from emerald to diamond?
Let's see, emerald to sapphire. I went sapphire in about 1 year. So that was 4 months. And then sapphire to diamond was 3 months.
So total, is that like a year and 3 months I'm hearing? Or, okay.
Yes.
Perfect. Great journey.
Yeah.
A lot of momentum there. And I'm hearing, again, it's those little things that Tamara took the time to do. And she's saying she didn't do them from the beginning. She told you guys, hey, I've made mistakes. But she took the time to evaluate herself as a leader and then make some minor tweaks that has made a huge difference on her business. So go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, something you said made this run through my mind. A lot of people that come to me and they say, you know, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. And then the next sentence is, what am I doing wrong? What am I doing wrong? And I literally just kind of cringe when someone says that, because I feel like it's such a negative way to look at yourself and like introspective, going, okay, well, what is it about me? What am I doing wrong? And so I shift that to, what can I do differently? What can I do more of? And I think that's so important. So if you feel like you're in a stuck place, instead of going, well, gosh, so-and-so, you know, went Ruby in 6 months and, you know, they're really in momentum. What am I doing wrong? What's wrong with me? Instead, change that question up and say, okay, what can I do different this month in April? What action can I do this month to make a difference for the months ahead? What can I do more of? What do I find some success in, but maybe I'm just not consistent in it? So what can I do consistently that I've seen a little momentum, you know, breathe life into my team or even into your own personal activity? So just shift that mindset and ask yourself a different question. What can I do differently? What can I do more of in my business to make a big difference? Guys, it's the little things that are done daily, the little efforts that are made on a consistent basis that produce the massive results. There is no secret. There is no magic formula to success. Oh, I get that too. What's your secret? I'm like, I don't got a secret. It's hard work. It's passion. It's consistency. It's being willing to step out of my comfort zone. My comfort zone today is so much bigger than it was when I started, because I pushed myself further and further to step out of it. And the beauty about a comfort zone is the more you step out of it, it grows, it gets larger and larger. And so then you have a bigger zone you're working from. And so you're doing those things that are hard, but they get easier and easier with those day-to-day efforts. So I want to challenge you in that as well, is even ask yourself, am I comfortable in my business? Because let me tell you, if you're comfortable in your business, it's likely that you're not growing. So you've got to get uncomfortable out there. So,
oh, this is so good. So we talked about the ups and the downs in the business. Is there something you do, something you say to yourself? How do you stay motivated?
Well, I mean, I'll be honest with you. I'm not motivated every day. You know, yeah, I mean, that's life. And that's with all kinds of things in life. I'm not motivated every day to clean my house, although I want a really clean house. It makes me happy. It brings me joy. But I'm not motivated every day to get up and do the dishes and vacuum the floors and so on and so forth. So what I have learned that helps me the most with motivation is to have daily goals, okay? So, like, for instance, last night, writing down my goals for today, what I want to accomplish, and not just with Plexus, but just in life. Instead of having those long, crazy to-do lists, I want a list of just things I can accomplish on Monday. Like, what can I get done today that's realistic, and then I'm going to go to bed tonight and be proud of myself for what I've done. So that is one thing that motivates me, is small, bite-sized goals instead of that big picture. And then secondly, specific to Plexus, one thing I have noticed, there's a quote, I want to remember it. It may come to me in a minute, but procrastination is the biggest thief of dreams. Because if we aren't motivated and we just constantly put things off, man, Sarah would be amazing in this business. I'm going to reach out to her. I don't feel like it today. I'm going to do it on Friday because it'll be the start of the weekend. I'll be done with the work week. She'll be done. It'll be a better time. Then Friday comes. I just want to hang out with my family tonight. You keep putting it off. You procrastinate, probably out of fear and lack of motivation, because it takes effort. If I have my mindset on, okay, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to reach out to people about the business. I want those to be so personal and well thought out. It's going to take me some time. So I've got to be able to commit that time, right? And so sometimes we put things off and we're not motivated because we're afraid of how long it might take or the effort it's going to be. And like she said earlier, it's easier just to not do it. And so if you want motivation in your business, you just got to learn to not procrastinate, because the feelings will follow the actions. So even if you don't feel like doing it, but you push yourself and you make it happen, I promise you guys, this has happened to me on so many occasions. When you throw yourself into activity and you get yourself going, those emotions follow. You get excited. You feel proud of yourself. Even if you aren't getting results right away, you feel good about your efforts because you know that your efforts are going to produce results. And so those are the two things. Simple. Avoid procrastination and make small bite-sized goals that you can accomplish in the day, because little things that start producing results, it's going to motivate you to continue because you can see the progress.
What's the cure? I always say being in activity is the cure to any problem you may be having in your business. And then the catalyst to that is to get out of procrastination. So great advice. Do you have a motivational phrase or like a Bible verse that you lean on just in life in general, but of course that you would apply to, Plexus as well?
Yeah, I mean, there's so many. And I told her right before we started that I didn't have any notes written down. So just whatever comes, out of my mouth tonight. So the one that just popped in my mind was that belief does not come from success, but success comes from belief. And I think far too often, at least I've seen in this business, that people are waiting to have a passionate, bold, strong belief when they see some success. But it really works the opposite way. You have to have that strong belief in yourself, the strong belief in our products, strong belief in our business opportunity and in our company and network marketing as an industry in general. And I believe that success comes from that. Because when I do a lot of encouraging people to do three-way calls for prospects, not just our new ambassadors, but for prospects. That's another thing that's changed my business. That's definitely a top tip that I would say. Get on the phone with potentials that need sealing the deal. And I've had people say, well, I'm just silver or I'm just gold. And I say, no. First of all, you're not just silver. You are silver. You're in the top, 10% of the company, 8%. And also, you have to project yourself like a jewel. So if you want to be an emerald, if you want to be a diamond, you need to start doing these three-way calls like you are a diamond. I remember doing them when I was silver and gold. Guys, I was getting on the line with people and sharing my story. And I shared my story like it was the best story Plexus had. It was the most powerful. Let me tell you where I'm headed. Let me tell you about my health journey. Let me tell you about my business journey, how it's changed my life. And I shared like I was already at my destination. And so, guys, you have to do that. You have to have that strong belief in yourself, where you're headed, what the products can do for people. Make sure you have 3 health testimonies, life-changing health testimonies tucked in the back of your pocket so that you can spout them off like you can tell somebody your birthday. Because you need to be able to share passionately about something that impacts you. If something inspires you, it is very likely it will inspire others. And guys, people are moved to act when they're inspired. So you have to have stories to be able to inspire others to action. Also with business testimonies, have 3 business testimonies tucked in the back of your pocket that you can say, let me tell you about my friend Catherine. Oh my goodness, you would just relate to her so much. She was in the corporate world. She has 2 boys. She's pregnant with her 3rd. And her dream has always been to stay at home with her little kids. She grew up that way. She was homeschooled. So it's killing her. Even though she likes her job, it's killing her not to be able to stay home with her babies. But guess what? She went senior Ruby, which is such and such rank on in Plexus, making such and such income. And she just quit her job. She was an interior designer at a children's hospital. She loved what she did. But the freedom that she has now to be able to work Plexus and stay home with her babies and not take maternity leave with her 3rd that she's about to have, that's life-changing. Guys, you have to have stories like that bring out emotion in you. I've told that story so many times, but it still provokes emotion in me because this business changed her life. And I shared with her when I was a Ruby ambassador. I remember sitting in the car with her. I brought her to an opportunity meeting, and she was about to leave. And I said, Catherine, this could be the way for you to see all those dreams that you've always had reality. Like, this could be it. She joined my team about a month later and quit her job within that 1st year. Guys, this is a life-changing business. And so you have to share it with such passion and boldness and confidence and belief, because that is going to inspire others.
So impactful. And just hearing that story invoked emotion in me, and I'm on board.
Yeah.
The stories, and I think when we peel back the layers and we think about just what Plexus has truly done, the way it has changed so many people's lives. And, we're talking in big ways, but even in the small ways. Like you said, it's not for the few, it's for the plenty. And we are generously compensated no matter what level we're at when we really think about it. And to know that, at a level of silver, that you can impact your family's budget greatly, because really the idea of bringing in an extra, handful of thousands of dollars a month is the difference between possibly sending your children to college or not, paying a light bill or not, getting that second car or not, and so, that really goes a long way, because a lot of times when you bring somebody on board and they look at it and go, Diamond, that seems so far out here. But when you reel it back in and say, it can help offset the mortgage payment, or to put your child in ballet classes, or whatever that desire is, to go on a first family vacation ever, that's huge. So sorry for the Tasmanian. Can you hear that? See, oh my goodness, they're extra precocious tonight. So top business tips. You've given us several, and so I'm not going to necessarily ask you for 3, because y'all, I hope you have your listening ears on, because there have been so many just in the short time that we've been together so far. So if you could give one more business tip, because I know we have a couple more questions to go through still, and I bet we'll get a couple more just in that.
Yes. Okay. Something that pops in my mind, and I kind of already spoke to this a little bit, but a lot of times when I see people set goals and they don't meet those goals. I'll just give you an example. Let's say that Sally sets a goal when she starts Plexus to make $2,000 a month. And this can either relate to you specifically, or as you're leading a team, as you're bringing new people on, be on the lookout for this as well. So let's say Sally sets a goal to make $2,000 a month. And she gives herself 2 months to get there, right? So month 2 ends, and she makes $500 a month. And she's like, well, okay, that's still really great. I didn't meet my goal. So you know what? Honestly, I would be happy with just like $750 to $1,000 a month. So that's my new goal. I want to make $750 to $1,000 a month. Okay, I see people do this all the time. Instead of upping your action to meet that original goal of that $2,000 a month, instead of increasing our activity, instead we just lower our target. We don't increase our activity to meet our target, to meet that goal. Instead we go, you settle. In other words, you're settling, right? Guys, I see people do this all the time. All the time. And when I recognize it, I call it out. I had another girl who, this makes me laugh, who decided she was going to go silver in a year. That was her goal. She was going to go silver in a year. And I thought, no, you have a lot more potential than that. Like I spoke this to her, you have more potential than this. And she's my level 2, but I had so much belief in her, and her upline told her as well, a year, are you kidding me? Like she and I talked about it like on Messenger, like what is she talking about? She could go silver tomorrow. And so she had a target that was really far away because she didn't have the belief that these products in this business could necessarily take her there. Now she's a jewel, okay? And she did that in about a year's time. And so I think those are the 2 things I see. We either lower our goals because we settle instead of increasing our activity, which is what we really need to do, or we set goals so far out of fear. So to me, goals need to be realistic, but they also need to be challenging. You've got to find that balance, right? So if you're a gold ambassador right now, obviously you probably aren't going to say, in 3 months, I'm going to be a diamond, right? That's not realistic. But in 3 months, could you be senior gold? Okay. And then make a plan to get there. How many people do you need on your team to be at least at 100 PV? How many of your level 1s and level 2s do you need to personally help go silver, to increase your number, to continue to grow out wide and down, right, into different levels to meet that goal? Guys, you have to set realistic goals. I get so excited about this. You have to challenge yourself. You have to challenge yourself. And so I don't want to see any of you. Think about when you first started. What did you want out of this? If you have brought that target down, I want you to wipe that slate clean. We're at the beginning of April, and I want you to say, no, I wanted to make $5,000 a month. Or by golly, I want to be Emerald, and I want to go to Maui. I want to bring my family on a dream vacation. I want you to revisit what you really want from this business, and don't sell yourself short. Make a plan. Get with your upline. Get with someone who's just as passionate about this business and loves you and wants to see you succeed, because I know you can do it. I've seen people that don't believe in themselves, but that can change with consistent effort and changing your mindset and partnering with someone who wants to help you succeed. So find that person, guys. And if you don't have someone in your upline, in your first couple levels above you that are really working it, guys, find a sideline. Find someone on your team who's at the same rank you are, but is pushing and has big dreams and has big goals and has no excuses, because they're going to make it happen. You've got to find someone in this business that you can not hold hands with, but lock arms with and make a run for it together. And so I don't want to see any of you bringing your target down and making your goals less. I want you to dream big and then make a realistic plan on how to get there. This is all a numbers game, guys. It's about people and numbers of people joining your team. It's about relationships and connection and loyalty and people joining your team, right? And so you've got to create that culture of a family and a friendship and a connection so people want to run this business with you. And that starts with you. And that doesn't matter what rank you're at. It all starts with you and how you're going to lead your people.
You had said earlier in our conversation that when you were silver and when you were gold, you were speaking about this business with passion. You were telling those stories with passion. And it sparked me to share something with you all. When I signed up under Celeste Gwynn, she validated this business to me, not as double diamond Celeste Gwynn. She was a gold ambassador, y'all. Maybe almost senior gold, but either way, it was her passion and her belief. And keep in mind, I don't even know that we had a true compensation chart. There was this idea of what that would look like. But keep in mind, when I joined in this month, 4 years ago, that there was no diamond. We had, Sheila Medina had not yet ranked to diamond. So this was all just validation based on what my sweet friend Celeste had done in just a couple months of being on board with Plexus. So the passion, and it doesn't matter, again, if you are silver or if you're diamond, it's your belief. You may be silver today, but have the belief of a diamond. And so when you said that, I wanted to make sure that I shared that story, because that's when I joined. I joined a almost senior gold ambassador, not knowing, having hope, having certainty, having belief, but there was no one that had really blazed that trail yet.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's just huge. So huge. Okay. Let's see because this is for me, I'm not green at all. I always tell people I'm all three colors, but no green. So we can answer this in the ish form. So about how many have you personally sponsored?
I have probably personally sponsored maybe around 150.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And then how many of those are still with you today on, even if they're just ordering on a wholesale level? And then how many of those would you say are, true runners?
Mm-hmm. I probably have about 50% of my team, or my level 1 personal recruits. And then I would say I probably have, just as level 1s, maybe 15 runners, around there. Yeah. So, and then, some are more passionate than others, of course, right? But I have 15 to 20 that are working the business, that are setting goals and making efforts.
So I'm hearing, Tamara's numbers are slightly higher than other people that we've spoken to in terms of retention. And so what I'm hearing is the difference there, because you're the first person that's really shared with us the power of, not that hasn't been a key ingredient in the other Diamonds journeys, but you said what changed your business was connection, so the relationship, as well as a three-way call. And so I'm tying that back to that activity, because again, what I want and my heart's desire from these episodes, these interviews and training, really, when you look at it, is that you can take what is said and apply it to your business as early as the ending of this call. You can apply it immediately to your business. So thank you for sharing those numbers and being so transparent with those. So, we get lots of lessons along the way in doing, this amazing business. Is there a lesson that comes to mind that you've learned? And I've heard a couple. So I don't want to put you on the spot, because I feel like you have done such an amazing job speaking from your heart, and I appreciate that. But is there one that comes to your thought process when I ask you that question?
A lesson in what way? Like in business or? In
business, yes, in your journey. And it can be that you've learned it through the avenue of Plexus, but it actually applies to your personal life, or it's an actual lesson that you learned, like, I would absolutely have changed this, or I would do this differently.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Lots of lessons. One thing that comes to mind is something I learned a fair amount of time ago, is that not everyone is like me. Right? I should have known that. But I think that's really important as a leader, that you are able to relate to people where they are at. Who they are. It's not up to them to meet us where we're at as a leader. It's up to us to meet them where they are at. And what I mean by that is, I don't really know what color I am. Some of my leaders think I'm yellow with red, and some people think I'm a strong red with some yellow. I don't really know. Maybe I'm blue. I don't know. If you don't know what I'm talking about there, definitely you want to understand the different colors of personalities. Do you know the name of the book? Is it
The Color Person? Isn't it Color Personality?
Of MLN, I think is what it is, of MLN. So important, because when I first started, and several months into my journey, when people weren't sharing with everybody they knew, and they weren't posting on Facebook, and they weren't reaching out to people, I thought, what is wrong with these people? And I just expected them to be like me, right? And I learned real quickly that I cannot motivate. If I'm an intense red, I can't motivate a yellow the same way that I can motivate my intense reds, right? So I have to figure out ways to motivate and encourage and support people where they are at, personally, spiritually, emotionally, and in their business. And that has been a huge lesson to me, and probably another thing that has changed my business, because I lead very differently with different legs of my team. And that's probably, you know what? I just had a moment. that is probably why some of my people think, what are you talking about? She's a yellow. She is a red. And then other people think, no, she's not. She's a yellow. Because I relate to them differently according to their personality. And so we kind of have to be like a chameleon, right? We have to mold ourselves in order to help people along in their journey. Otherwise, we could scare them off. We could not push them enough. We could make it not fun enough. The only ones that probably don't like me are greens, because I have no green when it comes. I mean, I just don't. And I wish I did. I admire those people, but I have greens on my team. So that I'm so thankful for. I call them my smarties. Mm-hmm. And so I respect and admire them. And so all that to say, we have to learn, and that's whether you're silver or you're a jewel, we have to learn to relate to our people right where they are at in their business in order to lead them well and to lead them effectively. And again, to inspire them, because when people are inspired, they're inspired to action. And this business is all about action.
I love that. And I also love that you spoke to, the fact that just because you don't have a certain color within you doesn't mean that you can't find a place to respect that person and admire that personality trait. Because I am like you. I might be wearing green, but I don't have it in me. But I wish I did, even if it was just a pie sliver shape of it, because it would, be so very, very useful. And I also love the fact that you said the importance of connection again, but maybe also taking that a step further. And what I heard and what you were saying was that sometimes common sense isn't so common, meaning you revisited some of those basics, because, have you ever been to a doctor's office and they just start talking doctor to you and you're like, wait a minute, I don't do this every day. It's almost like they got away from being able to connect or being able to explain it in just very basic terms, whatever the it is, right? And I think we sometimes do the same thing in the fact that we forget what it's like to be a very brand new ambassador and going back to the basics. Or I'll think, well, I already trained on onboarding. Nobody wants to hear that again. But keep in mind, how many people have you onboarded since your last training of onboarding? I guarantee you there's somebody out there that needs to hear it. So, great advice, Tamara, on just almost slowing down and finding that place of connection and not being even afraid to repeat some of the basic information. Mm-hmm. Okay, last question for you, sweet friend. I can't believe we're already there. I just feel like I need to grab my hot tea and sit down with you, my blanket, although I don't need, it's not that cold, but, it's cozy.
That's cozy, yeah.
Exactly. So, we know that there's a financial blessing when you hit, even, any type of status within Plexus, but especially at the diamond level. Could you share something fun, meaningful, or splurgy that you've done that's really and just has been a wow moment for you and your family?
Oh goodness. Well, I have a 9-month-old. She just turned 9 months, which
and I can't believe this. That seems like, I remember seeing you pregnant and you even missing a convention, was it? Because we were so close to due date that it just wasn't wise to travel. So that does not seem like it was.
I know. Yes, I had to last minute cancel convention because she was like 2 weeks out. So I decided that was probably not the best decision. One thing that comes to mind is I remember we were at my in-laws' house, and Abigail, my 5-year-old, she was 4 at the time. She just, she was so excited about baby sister coming. And my husband and I just kind of looked at each other. He had like a week off of work, and we thought, why don't we just take her somewhere really fun, like a baby moon before baby gets here, just so she feels really treasured before baby kind of comes in and rocks the world, And so literally within a week, we had booked flights, and we booked a hotel, and we took off to San Diego, and we went to SeaWorld and the zoo and really fun restaurants and just had the best time. I don't take things like that for granted, because that not only is financial freedom, but it's time freedom to just be able to pick up and go and make a really special moment for her. And it was a really great time. And another thing that comes to mind is just being able to have a nice home for my girls. I didn't grow up in a really stable environment. I don't really share this often, but I didn't grow up in a super stable environment. My parents divorced when I was really young. And so my husband and I kind of look at our lives as being, kind of making a different legacy for our family. His parents also divorced when he was really young, and he did not grow up in a stable environment either. And so just both of us have some different things from our childhood. Yeah. And so our dream is just to provide this, beautiful home that we can call home, that my girls will be able to bring their friends home and be able to cook in the kitchen and just have a family. I mean, it sounds simple, but to us, it's a big deal. And Plexus has been able to provide that for us. And so I'm so grateful for that, just to build a legacy of a home. And so we're really grateful for that. So I wouldn't necessarily call those splurges, like really fun things, but just, just things that are meaningful to us. We've all heard it said, if you're blessed, be a blessing. And so definitely, guys, if you have dreams to give to others, we've been able to buy, I don't know why I'm whispering, it's not a secret, but we've been able to buy my dad a car. He's on a fixed income and he needed a new car so desperately. And just to be able to gift that to him, I mean, just the love he felt from that, just doing things for people too is such a blessing. You just feel good about it, and you feel like, hey, I'm able to do this, so why not, right? So yeah, those are just a few things that kind of pop to mind. Of course, there's so many more. Plexus is, it's changed everything. So
I have loved seeing it change everything for you, and it's been a blessing to be a part of your journey and to be in what I consider this, sisterhood, brotherhood, of being at jewel level and taking it a step further and being diamonds together. And we probably wouldn't have met, not at this stage in life, maybe, without this beautiful opportunity. And I love that you shared that. What I hear is just the biggest blessing is the day-to-day opportunity to be able to have that security, to be able to change, to not be a victim of your circumstance. In other words, that you're able to change your family's future, even in just the small thing of it, which is a huge thing, by the way. Like you said, it's not something you take for granted, because I do believe that it's not about how many, although it's fun, how many purses you have or gorgeous shoes or beautiful clothes. It's those day-to-day blessings. I've shared with people, for me, and this is really where it turns more of a conversation. For me, it's been, just the day-to-day of, I can go to the grocery store and I don't necessarily like, oh, we want that bag of almonds. Okay, we can get that. I don't have to look at the price tag and go, we can't do that this month, because what I'm very well aware of is that a lot of families have to do that. Mm-hmm. Or, for example, we've had an opportunity here just in the last day or so to send Sadie to a camp that's not inexpensive by any means, but that from a budgetary standpoint, that was not the issue. It's more of a, does this line up with everything else that we have going on this summer? But from a financial standpoint, that was not what was going to be the thing that is going, would possibly hold her back. Mm-hmm. So, I love that it's changing everything. And so it's huge. And I love that you shared your story with us. I know I don't even have to say, I hope that you all have been able to take nuggets of wisdom away, because I know you have. This has been such an amazing, I don't know if we've been on the phone for an hour, but almost an hour, because you just simply share from your heart. You share very relatable, connectable, and takeaway items that, again, I feel very confident that our viewers, our sweet teams, can apply to their businesses today and make that change. So was today a day that you could take something and apply that one thing that would change your business and your family's likely to come? So Tamara, thank you so much for being precious and always sharing your time with us and just continuing to be the person I know that you are. And that's just absolutely genuine and real. So I appreciate you.
Thank you guys for having me.
Absolutely. And thank you all for tuning in. And until next time, y'all have a great April. And as always, go Plexus.